I have no confidence in my government whatsoever. Take it back. I never had confidence in my government whatsoever, especially when Joe Biden was installed as President of the United States. I have had low expectations for him. Now, to be fair, again, I also had low expectations for Donald Trump, even though I did vote for him in 2016. That was the first time that I've ever voted in a presidential election. But despite having low expectations, he surpassed them, and I was frankly impressed. I was willing to vote for him in 2020 because I thought I see optimism and confidence not just in our military, not just in the country, not just in our country directly or our economy, just overall the future. I was optimistic and confident as a result. Even with COVID happening, I was 100% confident, and I gave him my vote. And I was excited for him to have a second term. Then Joe Biden was installed as President of the United States through cheating. And even with the low expectations, he has surpassed them, but not in the way that I like. I would like in a leader. He's surpassed them in terms of failure. He has gone after crisis, crisis has been piling up after crisis. Just Afghanistan, stagflation, unemployment. That's becoming a major issue right now. Unemployment, and most recently, and another good one. Gas shortages. Where now the cost of gas is growing higher. In one case, and I got this from Tim Pool, the price of gas in a town in California is over $7.50. A town in California. This should be a wake-up call, and this shows that Biden and his lackeys within his own regime are basically destroying this country. And nowhere can that be shown right now than the supply chain crisis. Now, considering that the United States is the world's superpower, we have a massive industry base, but at the same time, a lot of other countries have a massive industry base, and a lot of our jobs, and this has been the cause many years prior to this, have actually moved out of this country to places such as China, Japan, India, other places, in order to build products cheaply. And then they would be sent back here, either sometimes maybe assembled here in the States, but most of the time not. And then they're sold onto the markets. And until now, there hasn't been a problem, although there have been, admittedly, a lot of people who are concerned about it, or who were concerned before this crisis happened. But now with Biden in charge, this has become a reality. It's become a reality. And and what do they do? What does the Biden regime and the media do? Blame Americans for buying too much, or try to scoot away from the problem. I cannot believe that the media is actually blaming Americans for buying too much and just blaming them for this crisis. This is not supposed to happen. This is not the result of the American people. In fact, the American people, the fact that they're buying stuff means that they're trying to grow this economy. It's the whole supply and demand part of basic economics. And I do not understand what these guys are thinking. This is basic. In the case of the media, this is just a rehash of Marie Antoinette's sorry, I can't talk today. Of her saying, "Let her be cake." No, I don't have COVID, but I do have a dry cough, dry throat sometimes. And I know, don't fact check me. Marie Antoinette did not actually say that, but still. That was definitely the media's attitude to the American people. Oh, it's your fault because of the shortages. But before that, both the media and the government, or should I say more, our puppet government at this very case, because we all know Joe Biden's not necessarily in control, as he said multiple times. They just try to say, no, there is no problem with the supply shortages, despite the fact that a lot of grocery stores are having a hard time putting stuff on the shelves, just trying to get products into ports. Right now, a lot of container ships are just sitting there anchored offshore. You want to know what the reason is? There are a few reasons. One, high taxes. Two, inflation. Already inflation is through the roof. About 5.4%, and is causing food and shelter prices to rise. This is not good. In fact, this will basically devalue the US dollar. And apparently there is no problem, according to the experts in this situation. Or take that back. The media, or the mainstream media and the government, are not experts. That much I can tell you. And even then, when finally the problem is right in front of people's faces, the government does nothing. In fact, one of the secretaries, Pete Buttigieg, he's the Secretary of Transportation. He is the one who's supposed to know this stuff and is supposed to work out the situations with the supply chain, the highways, that sort of thing. Where is he in this situation? On paternity leave. Yeah, that's not a coincidental thing at all. Especially like when Kamala Harris and Joe Biden basically try to run away from the media and from everyone else when talking about Afghanistan. Or anything about jobs or that sort of thing. Just run away, or even in the case where you do make rare appearances, all these speeches, no questions, just immediately run off like the cowards they are. And when Pete Buttigieg finally has to talk, he says that this is a good thing. Because products are rising. Again, inflation is causing this. Number two, the lockdowns are also number two, unemployment is also causing this. A lot of people are out of jobs. And that's actually some of them are actually the result of the lockdowns, the mandates, the vaccine mandates. A lot of these people do not want to get vaccine mandates or get the vaccine, and now many of them have been fired as a result. There's a worker shortage. There is a big worker shortage as a result, and that's shown especially clear on the ports, because they're the ones they're the places where those container ships go get the container ships or containers off, so that way the products can go into the rest of the country to be sold, and to bring other products onto their own ships, so that way they could go back to where they came from and sell them into other countries. But no, there's a massive labor shortage as a result, just to show just in the case of the ports. There's also labor shortages in other parts of the other industries, such as restaurants, yada yada yada. But I would say it's definitely being shown in places, in just major port areas. I wouldn't be surprised if nearby Seattle is having such a problem as well, because they're definitely in support of vaccine mandates. Hell, Jay Inslee is 100% in favor of that, to the point where he's actually already told everyone, unless you get a religious exemption, you have to get the jab. State employees, nurses, first responders, yeah, those people. If you don't get a jab, unless you don't get a medical or religious exemption, you're fired. Yeah, we know that you've been on the force for 20 years. Still, you're fired. Oh, and we'll take your pension too. But again, that's the situation that we're currently dealing with. Ugh. Economists are actually getting very worried. And I completely agree with them when they say that we're heading towards a recession. Well, take that back. I think that we're in the early stages of a recession. Because a lot of people now are deciding to resign, to get out of their workplaces because they have no incentive. Thanks to, again, lockdowns and mandates. And who's paying for them? The government. And if those people who want to work, they have to get the jab as a result. Or else they'll get fired. This is insanity. And it's only affecting our economy worse and worse. I'm actually kind of worried myself because I may work at Amazon. But we're definitely part of the whole shipping productions system we have in our own economy. Because we need to ship products all over, from Israel to Saudi Arabia, anywhere within the states like Washington, Texas, Florida, anywhere. What happens when we don't get those products off those ships? We would be most likely fired as a result. Or businesses would just be very, very slow. Honestly, I'm kind of feeling that right now in my own workplace. I have absolutely no confidence whatsoever that this is going to lead directly that we'll be able to get out of this unless we make some immediate changes. I doubt Biden will actually make such changes, like trying to lift the lockdowns, remove the vaccine mandates. In fact, say when I've decided not to issue vaccine mandates. That alone would boost people's confidence into trying to get back into the workplace. I'm worried though that we are heading into a recession, the likes of which will make 2008 small in comparison. I'm being serious when I say that. Especially since right now China is having their own problems, especially in the case of one company called, a real estate company called Evergrande, which is currently $300 billion in debt. And it looks like that they might have to file for bankruptcy or just be bought by the government. Right now, the government hasn't bought it off yet, which only makes the situation worse. China, if it falls, although I do hope that the government does collapse, the economy will create a domino effect that will also affect the United States. Because we're part of this entire global economic system. We are all tied by it. The United States is tied by it. Canada is tied by it. Europe is tied by it. South Africa is tied to it. There's definitely going to be a major economic downturn. And I say that if such a thing does happen, it will definitely have a major impact on the United States economy. But do you want to know who's most to blame? Joe Biden and his regime. It's his policies that have put us in this situation. We were not in this situation under Trump. In fact, even when there was a rising take of unemployment, it was actually decreasing as by the time his first term came to an end. And yeah, I'm saying first term. I hope he runs in 2024. People were still feeling confident back then. We didn't have a supply chain problem. Or at least if we did, it wasn't as bad as what we have now. I have no faith that Joe Biden will get us out of this. All I see that he could do is just stand still, his arms 90 degrees like this, just like in the town hall. And just stand there frozen in place because he does not know what the hell he's doing. By the way, in terms of that, instead of calling it the cornholio, him being the cornholio stance, I call it the honey, I shit my pants stance. But either way you look at it, this does not spell good for the United States. All because of Joe Biden and his policies. The only good thing I can see about this is people are waking up and seeing that not only should we have our jobs back, but we should build more stuff here in the United States so that we're not as affected by such a collapse like this. I really hope that we push towards something like that. I really do, because that would definitely help our economy and definitely help with labor shortage. But if there's going to be a person that actually pushes us into that direction, it's certainly not Joe Biden. My name is Noah Meehan on The Arc Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, if you have any issues regarding my videos, such as how I speak, or how I frame my videos, or whatever, or even to improve my audio, please be sure to put them down in the comment section down below, or directly message me. Thank you.
Almost head.